Did you know that I could drag one dungeon tile out into... How many videos are we at right now? We're wrapping it up. Hey guys, Michael here. So we are gonna wrap this one up. So I've got the last dungeon tile here. So the first dry brush coat is dry now, and we are going to add the second dry brush coat to it. So for the second coat, we're using a stone edge dry brush. So for this dry brush coat, I have grabbed a second brush because of course you need a dry brush, and I rinsed out the other one because I knew that I was going to wait for this dungeon tile to dry and set up before we did this step. So what we are going to do is we are going to do something very similar to what we did in the last video. We are just going to take a little bit of the paint in our dish, and we are going to shake it first and not be an idiot. I like the pre-thinned stuff, but it does separate out a little bit, so that's a little better. So with the stone edge, we do not need much of this. We are just trying to hit some of the highlights on this piece. So I'm going to soak a little bit of it up into the brush, and just like before, I'm going to wipe it on a paper towel until I have just a little bit, and we just want to skim it on the surface of the tiles. I think I've got a little too much there. Wipe a little off. And make sure you vary your direction. You're going to hit those edges there a little heavier. Corners are the hardest part. I think you could almost paint all of the tiles, the floors, separately, and then glue the walls down and then paint them, but that's hard to do. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get back into the corner there. And we are just looking for a dusting here. We don't want this heavy. Put a little more back on my brush. Get it along this top edge. Hit that tile there, a little heavier. A little heavier on the top edge. Lightly, okay? we want to kiss the tile. Like butterfly kisses on a cloud. On this edge here. Still got a little too much paint in that brush. But that's alright. That's okay. And remember, I told you in one of the other videos how the white of the stone edge would kind of bring a little bit of the gray look back to the tile. I'll let you see it here in a minute. So I'm just taking and dabbing and dragging my brush right now over the edge of a few of these stone floor tiles. A little heavy there, maybe a little heavier right there. That looks pretty good. So you can see how that final dry brush kind of gives us the highlight that we're looking for. Does a real nice effect. Now this will get clear coated. Whoa. Sorry. Camera can go back up, thank you. There we go, guys. Sorry about that. So anyway, it kind of gives us that that highlight that we were looking for. So if I was doing a large batch of this, I would probably do a bunch of these tiles, and like I've got quite a few made up, but by doing a bunch you can compare your highlights. Like this highlight looks a little more than what I did over here, so I could either add a little bit here, or I could go back and try and tone this down. There's nothing stopping me from going back. This is our other dry brush. This is the olive dry brush. So I'm going to try just taking a little bit of this olive dry brush back on here, and you see how that evens out our color a little more. It just kind of makes the two tiles look a little closer, and I can even go back to this tile with just a hair more of that olive, and it just kind of blends them together a little better. It's only an issue because I did these tiles at two different times. If I was doing them together, they would look the same, because you're going to do each step of the process, and you're going to do every tile you've got in one step, and then you're going to do every tile you've got in the next step. It's only when you do something like what I just did, where I did one to completion, that that we get that kind of difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add a hair of that olive back onto the walls as well. It doesn't really need it, but it looked so good when I did it down there, I decided that I would go ahead. Just run just a fleck of it going off this way where that white is the highest. Yeah, it looks better. Maybe I'll bump it there. And you can see I can get fussy over this, and I can do this for quite a while, but you don't want to fuss over them forever, because no matter what you do, it's going to look good. But I like the color to look even between the tiles, and that's what doing that does. So this was one of the other tiles that I tested, which doesn't have the black in the base, and I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not, but this one looks considerably lighter than these. This tile and this tile here are the same exact casting. Here, I'll turn them so that they look the same. Even though they're the same casting, they look different because of that black that's down in the crevices of this tile. So keep that in mind, how the paint can totally change the look. I may repaint this one so that all my tiles look the same. I haven't decided. I don't think it's terribly distracting if I leave it, but it is a little different. So that's really all there is to it. I hope you guys like the results, and if you got any questions, leave them in the comments for me. Thanks for watching.
If you like our video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see more great videos like this.